All right, looks like we're live. Welcome to the channel, everyone. This is Wes as usual, and a special live stream on Thursday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I won't be available this Saturday because my wife and I are expecting a child this weekend, so thought we would knock something out a little bit different time just to talk a little bit comics before I'm indisposed for a few days. We have a smaller panel than usual, but it's a couple of great guys. Bats, what's going on, man?
Nothing, man. I just woke up.
Yeah, I see like little like sheet impressions in your face, man.
No, yeah, I didn't
Living
get
the
to
life.
get for coffee, so it ought to be interesting.
Yeah, so if Bats is dragging too much ass, it's because he woke up late. And also joining us, we got Pele. What's going on, buddy?
Hey, I'm dragging ass too. So I worked 16 hours yesterday. It was typical for a Wednesday, new comic book day. And I slept for about 4 hours, and now I'm on here. So
New Comics Day wears you out?
Oh God, Wednesdays suck. Well, Wednesdays are great actually. It's just that the hours suck. The new comic book day is always kind of a little bit frantic, but we had several collections that came in this week, and I do the buying on the collections. So I do the buying on most, no, not all new comics, not all comics that come in, but the ones that are older that need to be accurately graded. Then and I'm the one that has to do those. It takes about, it can take an hour, it can take 5 hours to go through, several long boxes.
So you're the old man of the what is that, Pawn Stars?
Oh no, I'm more like Rick.
Yeah, that's what I'm. Yeah, okay, yeah, Rick. All the big purchases go through you, though.
Yeah. Anything over $100.
Okay.
Has to go through me. I've got a good manager, but he's not the best at grading. He's really good at new comics. He's really good at stories. He's really good at and he can look up value in the price guide, but he can't tell you what the difference is between a 7.0 and an 8.0, unless it's CGC or just graded a slab. So that's what I do.
So today we are going to get to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Bats and I, we read the first 2 volumes of the IDW series as well as the first micro series volume. But I thought first we'll talk a little. Yesterday was New Comic Book Day. Pele, so yesterday the big 3 were Savage Avengers, DC's You're the Villain, and DC Deceased.
Mm-hmm.
So did they all move? Did one of them move better than another? What was the hot seller?
Savage Avengers. It blew out. I'd ordered 50 copies, partly because I figured we could easily sell 50 copies of it, given that Endgame just came out. But also I wanted that U variant, the 1 in 50 U variant, because things like that it typically sell fairly well as long as it's a high, ratio variant. But yeah, it sold surprisingly well. We've got about 80% of them already gone. Probably should have ordered more, but I'm kind of a little skittish new Marvel titles right now. But I'm going to I'm gonna say that the DC title's a little underwhelming right now. Deceased, I've still, I think I ordered 30 copies. Got most of them still on hand.
I know I could be less interested in Deceased.
Yeah,
like,
I think
why would they
a little bit tired of zombies now.
Yeah, why would you put Tom Taylor on anything like that?
Yeah, I don't understand.
Just because he did the what's that video game that people like that they made a comic?
I don't know. And he doesn't do that.
Yeah, didn't he do that?
Was he? Okay, I think you're right. He did the second series, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, he did a Batman annual that was good, but that's literally the only thing he's ever written that I liked.
Yeah, he was also in that dang it, man. What's that called? The Super Talent Boys 2018?
Yeah.
Oh.
The new
the Showcase Talent.
Yeah.
Showcase Talent.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Mhm.
It was,
And like he did that story where like Batman had to reveal his identity to save the kid and his mom. That was okay, but
yeah.
there's no way I'm going to give him $3.99 6 times. You know,
Mhm.
Not
No,
one of my
you're the
check.
villain. You're the villain. Sold. It sold okay.
I mean, it
Even
was
for being a
25
I
quarter,
cents.
say, pardon.
even though it's a quarter.
Yeah, it's the problem is people. I don't know. It's this cheaper books like that. The DC Nation. The anytime DC puts out one of those 25-cent books, it's just it's weird because like it's only a quarter, guys. Why don't you grab one? Eh, and they kind of hem and haw, and they'll whatever. It's like, oh god, they expect something like that to get to be a freebie. But
I
I
think
held most of them back for Free Comic Book Day this Saturday, and I'm gonna have that as one of my free giveaways. So
I also think it's like I know when I mean I just stopped buying DC like as of yesterday, but every time those 25-cent issue pops around, it's like it's a 25-cent comic to tell you to buy this, buy that, buy this, and buy that over there.
Yeah, it's just an advertisement.
yeah, pretty
And
much, yeah.
so yeah, so it was like, and with the year of the villain, it's like crossing over through all the DC books. So I think a lot of people are skeptical of like, well, I don't want to read this, like it, and then end up getting trapped for an entire DC universe.
Yeah, so for me, I think it's $1.20 for me to order it, and I never even considered it. I was like, I have no interest in this. In fact, I am severely skeptical of the year of the villain. I don't even like the direction that I'm hearing with the Secret Six, where 6 heroes are going to be driven mad and become villains. Apparently, has
Wait,
there
that's
been
the
any?
premise?
What's that?
Now, Secret Six is sold extremely well in back issue. The Silver Age Secret Six series did extremely well as a back issue. I got several copies of that, and various sources, eBay, just grabbing up what I could so I could get them from the store, and they just blew off the shelves.
So, is there any buzz about all the announcements? The Superman Batman series, Snyder getting an extra issue of the Batman Who Laughs, and it's leading into this big event where 6 heroes are going to turn evil, and I guess Batman and Superman have to hunt him down. Is that getting positive buzz? In the store, people talking
It's
about it.
getting buzz. Batman Who Laughs has been extremely popular. Probably, I sell 50 copies an issue, which for DC at my store is pretty good. Uh, yeah, it's been, I would say, the third best selling DC. Yeah, the third best selling DC after Batman and Detective. So
Oh,
yeah,
even better than Doomsday Clock.
yeah,
Oh,
better
okay.
than, well, Doomsday. I don't count Doomsday Clock because it's so irregular.
It's a quarterly book.
Yeah, it's quarterly
Yeah.
basically, so I didn't count that. When Doomsday Clock does come out, it's the top selling DC of that week.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so irregular that it surprises me that people are still hanging around for it. It's still buying it in that high demand, considering how irregular its spacing is of the shoes. It's just
I'm pot committed. I can't stop now.
that's basically it.
I wish I had
People
waited for the
people feel
trades.
committed. Yeah, and it's truly excellent.
Yeah.
It's really
Yes.
excellent book. It's just, damn, it should have ended, September of last year. So
Yeah, so what's also it's the sequel to Watchmen by Jeff Johns. So like, even if
right.
someone says they're gonna drop it, when it hits the shelves again 3 months later, they're like, yeah, well, they talk themselves back into it.
And the art's awesome. It's got the new characters they introduced are all really cool. Like it's
Plus
awesome.
it's a
It's really
prestige
good.
format.
Yeah.
It's that prestige, better cover, the better, thicker cover, higher quality paper. for the same price as the lower quality crap. So,
The majority
typical,
of the line right now.
the typical issues, the majority, yeah. So yeah, it draws attention, and but yeah, there's been a lot of buzz as far as Batman Who Laughs. The others, it's I would say that there's buzz, but it's just we get a general buzz, around the shop. New titles coming out. People won't talk about it. People want to add stuff to their lists. But anyway, yeah, probably a little more buzz than normal for specific titles like that.
Interesting. Because I'm pretty down on DC right now. I don't know if anyone knows that. I don't talk about that really that much.
I couldn't tell.
I'm not as down as Bats.
Oh yeah.
I'm sticking around for Hawkman and Teen Titans, and I still like Justice League Odyssey, but I'm kind of.
I think one thing is we tend to be hypercritical. The average person that is reading DC titles, they don't really they're like like Tom King. They're like, well, this isn't as good as the previous writer. This isn't as good as the previous series, but it's still Batman, so I'm still buying it. And blah, 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 blah. They have. I don't know if it's their expectations are lower or they're not nearly as critical of what they're reading. So they just kind of like, okay, well, it's Batman still. It's odd. It's like things that are truly outstanding are like, oh, this was pretty good. Like, pretty good. This was amazing. What like Hawkman? This is amazing. This is great. Oh yeah, it's pretty good. It's kind of like they don't have really high expectations. They don't have really low. It's kind of like it's either good, not very good, or this is pretty good. It's I don't know. I don't know any other way to explain it.
I think also it's like when you look at like comic books in their rating systems online, if you were to do, like I didn't like the first Batman Who Laughs. I looked at it, the art looked very still to me. Like Jock doesn't do it for me when it comes to Batman. It looks very stiff and still, kind of boring. No movement, no action. And I was like, yeah, I'm not coming back for this. Not for a $5 price point. Like Snyder's cool, but sometimes I kind of feel like he's past his time. Like he got all the good stories out in the Batman New 52.
I think he makes everything too complicated.
Yeah.
Everything has to be set up for like some payoff 3 years in advance or in the future, and it's like, live in the now, man. Just tell a good story.
Yeah, he kind of falls into a lot of major, a lot of big writers fall into now is they come up with this grandiose finale, and then they're struggling along the way to fill in to get that finale to work right, instead of adopting a story, working with it along the way, to really make it pay off, as a monthly or bi-weekly book, and then with a general idea of how you want the whole thing to wrap up. So yeah, it's I don't know. It's kind of like they just really they don't know they know where they're going, but they don't really have an idea of how they're going to get there. So,
that's what I see a lot. So what was the response from people that read Batman this week? I think people are gonna like it because it is better than Nightmares, and Nightmares was terrible.
Oh, it's I took a big steaming shit this morning, and it was better than Batman 69.
Absolutely.
So it had better story texture and everything. It was far superior. So
I still think it was garbage.
And it was still 70's better. It's not it's not Grant Morrison by any stretch. It's better. So,
So Bats, I haven't got to see your video yet. It's on my to-do list. What did you think of 70?
I mean, I got in and out of there, and I started patting the video after like 3 minutes because I'm like, oh yeah, so we haven't seen this before. Batman's in Arkham, and he has to beat up bad guys. Yay! Here we go.
Yeah, you just a retread of 2 stories.
Yeah, and not even just like yeah. You pointed out that it's the retread of 2 stories, but it's also just like how many times has Batman been in Arkham and had to just like beat up everyone?
Yeah, that's how he got in there in this story arc too.
Yeah, it's like I liked it more in Detective when he like goes to Arkham and he's like, "We need to talk," and he turns off the lights, and then the next issue picks up with everyone beaten up on the ground, and you're like, "Okay,
it's more interesting."
Totally irrelevant. We don't need to see that, as we've seen it a million times. So yeah, cool. Move on.
So yeah, I do think King has some real issues with continuity. Like I said,
yeah, like
why is he beating up Hush? He shouldn't be there. Why is he beating up Man-Bat? He's a hero in Justice League Dark.
Yep.
And why is he beating the ever-loving shit out of Mr. Freeze after almost killing him with his bare hands? The guy can't even speak when he sees him.
Yeah, that was only what 10 episodes ago.
Yeah, that was recent. King wrote it.
It was like 20, yeah, it was like 20 issues, but it's just stupid. Like
that Man-Bat was his buddy now.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he's a hero. I mean, they're all they're in the Justice League. Man-Bat's the dark portion, but
right. But he's kind of like the Batman of Justice League Dark. So to speak. He's they're friends. I don't understand why he decided. I've got to open the skin and whoop ass on my buddy over here.
Well, he shouldn't even be in Arkham in the first place.
No, he shouldn't be. I don't understand it.
It made no sense. Like I said in my video, I was like, how many different continuities am I reading at this point? Because this doesn't make sense.
With the Hush thing, it's like, yeah, he got thrown into another dimension in the last time we seen him, where he turned himself into Dick Grayson this time.
Yeah.
Which at this point, I'll take that over Rick.
Yeah. So it's better than what it was, but it's still not good. But let's see if we can talk about a few of the good comics. I was really impressed by Green Lantern. Paley, what did the readers think about that one?
It still sells well. Talking about the Grant Morrison.
Yeah, because this issue is all like lyrical prose through the entire thing. It's like really personal,
a little pretentious, but yeah, it looks really nice.
Yeah,
the artwork was good,
beautiful.
It had a beautiful flow to it. It's kind of like it reminded me of some of the Swamp Thing issues, the early Rights and Swamp Thing issues from the first series.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I saw some of the panels, and now as you say that, like now it makes way more sense. I'm like, why do I like this?
Yeah, there was a lot of Bernie Wrightson influence in that book, as far as the art flow in it. Beautiful full page art with just the way that the presentation of it and the way it framed the wording. Then you had the flow to the next page or the next panel. That it was really, really good stuff. Probably the best of the series thus far.
Yeah, that was my impression as well. I was like, wow, this feels different because it's supposed to be more important, and it was successful.
Like really well done. It felt like really well done 70s macabre as far as the way that it, the way the presentation of it, and I love that era. I am all about the 70s Bernie Wrightson Bronze Age stuff. So
yeah, so that's like one of my examples. I'm like, if Tom King was just more judicious with his use of literature and poetry in his books, it would be effective. But because he uses it all the time, it doesn't mean anything. But you read that Green Lantern book and you open it up and you're like, oh, this is completely different. This is an important issue.
I have
Grant Moore. Oh, go ahead.
I have a confession. I saw a guy in the very beginning who's like, and he's quoting poetry. I skipped all his dialogue.
So did I.
I was just like, oh, this is not important. It's a crazy
I read
guy.
a couple lines and recognized it. And I was like, oh,
Yes.
it's the marriage of heaven and hell. Cool.
I didn't. I when I saw it on your review, he's like, oh, Wes actually knows this poem. I don't read poetry.
I do.
Like,
I'm a big. You know, I love Dante's Inferno. I love the Enlightenment and even the pre-Enlightenment poets. But yeah, if Grant Morrison was a bit pretentious with Green Lantern, Tom King has his head so far up his own ass that he can tell what he had for breakfast yesterday.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
but
So-
also, I feel like Grant also earned his pretentiousness. If he wants to be a little self-impressed, he can be. Like he's the guy who wrote freaking Justice League in '97. Like,
Well, also his All-Star
stuff.
Superman is
yeah, it's
still in
classic.
print. It'll be in print forever
mhm.
because it's an amazing story. It's impactful. It's something that that creates new creators. When they read this, they go, man, I want to write a comic book that's as good as this.
I guess
don't
it comes
think-
back to it comes back to what you were talking about before. What has Tom King done? I mean, that mother is just he's not. What have you done for me? He's not done a single damn thing lately. Grant Morrison, at least has put out these amazing, impactful, powerful stories. He doesn't always hit the mark, but every single year, every single time he goes to write, there's some impact. He leaves some part of his legacy there.
Mhm.
And Tom King just takes a big crap on everything. So I don't, what has he done?
Also, Grant Morrison doesn't phone anything in.
No,
Like-
he doesn't.
He's always going to do something unique. It's going to be his own take. He will take stuff from the past and try to reshape it, which works great or it's terrible. But
Mhm.
it's just a much better take. Plus, he was in the original Vertigo launch. He's one of the guys that really changed comics. Even before.
I forgot
Image.
about that.
Yeah, he was on Doom Patrol, right? Am I thinking
Right.
wrong?
was
I'd forgotten about
Doom
that.
Patrol, yeah, and then he got the Invisibles.
Yeah. So I mean, dude's got a legacy. So
Yeah, That was a long time ago. Wow.
yeah, it's like
You're old, Pele.
Well, I remember when it came out. Okay. Now I remember that was Grant Morrison. I was in there thinking,
yeah, that was
Grant.
young Grant Morrison
Holy crap,
before he
yeah.
was, Grant Morrison.
Yeah,
So-
he did the Animal Man.
Yeah,
That was
Yep.
back when. That was back when Constantine was actually pretty awesome.
That's what. Yeah, we had Hell in his title.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Hellblazer. Whoa.
All right, so the other comic book that I read already, I have a review. It's almost ready to go up. It'll be up in like a day or two. Was the Batman Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? The third volume. I thought it was amazing. What did you think, Bats?
Ah, man, like I'm with you there. It's definitely amazing. It was a step up in quality too compared to the last two books. The last two books were kind of just like they weren't taking too many risks. They were just
No.
like, they're like, turtles are cool, right? Huh? Turtles are cool. Batman's cool. Everything's cool. So like,
It was your standard. There's a portal. We're in the wrong universe.
yeah.
On
Yeah,
the first
and
one, and the
I-
second one, they just reversed it and did the same thing and blew up the cast to make it bigger.
Yeah, and that
Right.
was my big problem with these crossovers, where it's just like, I think I said it in our group chat where it's like, oh yeah, there's a portal, and then there's a MacGuffin. The bad guy, it's always a race to get the MacGuffin. The bad guys get it, the good guys show up, they triumph over evil, and then they shake hands and jump through the portal at the end.
Yeah, and they always say, if you ever need me, you just give me a call. Gotta go back.
yeah. Every time, every crossover, like 90% every crossover ever. It's all. So I always normally am just like, all right, well, it's just, you're just kind of there to see the interaction of the characters most of the time.
It's fan service.
Yeah, that's what it was. But with this one, I was like, oh, who's gonna jump over to whose world? Nah. They're just like, well, we could just make it a DC continuity where Batman went into the sewers after his parents were murdered.
Yeah.
And found Splinter, and then they were all oozed, and
Splinter rescued him.
Oh, could you imagine he wasn't Batman at all, he was Ratman.
But it's pretty interesting when you open up and you first see Batman, you're like, okay, he's different. Then you start seeing the villains, and you're like, which villain is that? Is that Rocksteady or is that Killer Croc? I was like, I'm a little confused here, and then you realize it's both of them. They mixed the two Lion characters.
Oh, yeah, it was Bebop and Croc, and then Rocksteady and Clayface.
Yeah, and then when they finally introduced the Turtles, and then I'm like, oh man, Raphael looks weird.
Which continuity is this? Is in the Turtles continuity, right? Or is it just some alternate Turtles continuity?
So the first two, you can kind of go, oh, here's the part where they go team up with Batman.
Mm-hmm.
But because IDW doesn't own the licensing, they can't really ever mention it. And vice versa. Like in the first two, there was some subtle hints to the continuity of current Batman, but they they can't quite fully commit to that bit. So all three in itself are standalones, but this continuity is its own. Like I would say it's vibrating between the DC universe and the Mirage universe.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
As its own like universe. Like if you remember because after I finished reading it, I kind of got this visual where have you seen Turtles Forever? Anyone seen Turtles Forever? No?
Mm-mm.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, so Turtles Forever Turtles Forever was the last episode of the 2003 series where it does a crossover between the 87 tunes and the 1984 Kevin Eastman comics. So you have three different iterations of the Turtles in animation. And so, but they did Shredder basically finds out that the multiverse exists. And so his goal is to destroy Earth Prime, where the Turtles were invented by a guy named Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird.
So it's self-aware.
Yeah, so it's self-aware, and it's Shredder is basically like going to Earth and destroying each Earth, and he's working his way to Earth Prime, us, right? And so, but in that show, they do like a big thing where that shows all the different multiverses, and so I got this visual in my head after reading it that it was like it showed both multiverses of the DC universe and the Mirage universe, and then right in the middle, stuck in between the two, was this new Batman Ninja Turtles 3. And I was just like, I just really love that they had the audacity to really like merge them so much in the background. You see the Batwing as a blimp.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It's really cool too, because so all the Turtles take on they're essentially Robins.
The respective personalities of the Robins.
Yeah, so Raphael is Jason Todd because
Tim Drake. Oh yeah, sorry.
No, it's Jason Todd because they're the moody assholes.
Yeah.
Leonardo is, of course, Dick Grayson because they're the leader that's the most trustworthy. Michelangelo is Damian Wayne because they're the carefree spirit that you never know what they're going to do. And then Donatello and Tim Drake because they're the geniuses. And it fits all perfectly. I was like, this is really cool.
Who is Dick Grayson?
Leonardo.
Leonardo. Yeah, so they're the new turtle outfits kind of mimic the Robin outfits that were distinctive, and it's just I was like, this is awesome.
No, that actually does fit with Leonardo being the tortured soul, that's sort of damaged, sort of emotionally and psychologically damaged. And yes, so is Dick Grayson. So
yeah, so he did a really good job because I know in the first book it's all Tinian, right?
Yeah.
But the second book he outlined the story, and then someone else wrote all the dialogue, I believe.
I'd have to go back and look.
I'm pretty sure because it showed because it wasn't nearly as good as the first one. It was just a retread, so I'm really glad he went and did something different and more fun with the third one because I was like, I'm gonna get it because I have the first two. It's the last one, but
yeah, when they announced the title "Crisis in a Half Shell," I was like, haha, look at you. Dun, 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 dun. You're so clever. But I wasn't actually expecting a crisis in a half shell where they were like, I mean, should we spoil the ending?
No, I'm not even spoiling it in my video.
No.
Okay.
But it's cool.
But there's two, oh, that's freaking awesome moments.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's two of them. The first one was spoiled for me by Newsarama. While I was like chatting with you guys on Twitter, I looked and it showed me the character in the trench coat, and I was like,
oh, yeah, that sucks.
And so I commented, I'm like, way to freaking spoil the book. Well, I was just waiting for that the whole time. But then the next page over, I was like, oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was totally unexpected. I didn't get it.
You didn't get it?
No, I didn't expect it at all. I was like,
oh, okay.
What?
Oh, okay. I was like, you didn't get the ending.
No, I got it, but it blew me away. I was like, this is how you do it. If you're gonna do something fun like this, go nuts.
Yeah, definitely crisis in a half shell, right?
Yeah. It's really fun. If if you're watching the video now, like, go check out that book. It's great. You don't need to read the first two either. It's like its own thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're not talking like they know each other. It's something completely new with the two universes like merged up. And yeah, it's really cool. Like Shredder and Joker are like kind of one character now. So,
well, yeah, because what was it?
How do they? I don't see. Yeah, I don't understand Shredder and Joker because Shredder doesn't seem to have any sense of humor at all. But yeah, I know they're archetypal villains of that era, of that particular universe. But it's just kind of, I don't know.
The one that really it's kind of a spoiler, but the one that really got me was Master Splinter as Alfred.
That's weird.
Just seeing the rat in the tuxedo
puts
like a smile on your face. You're like, look at what's rat in a tuxedo.
They have a little conversation where they basically give you the exposition. You learn that he found him after his parents were murdered and raised him in a sewer.
Okay.
It's great. Everyone should read that book. It's awesome. I wish they would do more stuff like this because
it was a nice coming out as like you read Batman 70 and you're just like, why does this exist? Why is this a thing? And then I went to go read Turtles Batman where they're like fighting the Smiling Clan and there's a rat in a tuxedo. I'm like, this is awesome.
Yeah, this is much better. So, did you read Fallen World yet, Bats?
No, I got caught up chatting with Eric Breen for 20 hours yesterday.
Oh, that guy again.
I have it. It's right here. I was gonna read it. I was like, when I get off the phone. I'm gonna read this Fallen World so I could tell Wes I didn't like it.
Yeah, I did. I won't get into too much into it then. If you haven't read it, I don't want to bore everybody. But if you don't know,
now you know.
I'm a huge Rai fan. That's my favorite comic story arc. The first 12 issues of Rai, and then 4001 AD. He's probably my second or third favorite superhero. So the book was a bit of a letdown, but I'm going to do a video on that, so be looking out for that.
But did you when you say Rai 1 through 12, are we talking 2012 Valiant or?
Yes, the modern Valiant.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, if you're watching the video live or if you're watching on the replay, I'm going to be in the hospital for like 3 days, and I need books to download on from Comixology. So if you know something that's great, that's off the beaten path, that's on Comixology Unlimited that I can download, I'll really appreciate the suggestions.
Hellblazer, like we were talking about before. How long has it been since you read the Hellblazer comic, the original one?
I've never read it.
Get that. Yeah,
all right, so that's available on Unlimited?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that is available unlimited. It is really, really good. My wife had a ball with that. She'd always kind of she doesn't really know DC. I got her into X-Men and a few other things, and as far as Marvel's concerned, and she was like, well, I want to. What she is, she likes young adult. Was not really young adult, but the modern fantasy, what they call urban fantasy. So she reads a lot of those particular types of books, like oh crap. Anyway, like the modern
Hunger Games kind of things.
Not really. More like Jim Butcher's stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, more like Jim Butcher's type of work.
Saga?
No. Oh crap, what is that? What's the name of that? Stormfront was the first book in that series. But anyway, she likes that urban fantasy kind of stuff. So I was like, well, you probably would like Constantine. You'd probably like Hellblazer. So, she started reading that, and I mean, she sat there for like a whole weekend. Practically, just sitting there, just reading on our iPad. So I recommend that.
Cool. I'm already planning on reading Frank Miller's RoboCop.
Okay.
It sounded like it would be really weird and fun.
I have a suggestion.
Okay.
It's called Ex Machina by Brian K. Vaughan.
Ex Machina?
Mm-hmm.
Like
I don't know
movie?
if that's on Comixology though.
Yep, I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, it's about a guy who gets a superpower where he can talk to machines.
Like the Live Wire.
No, okay, yeah. So it has, it's but the power is like also primitive. Like like a bicycle is a machine, so he can kind of like talk to a bike and tell it to stop moving and like knock someone off a bicycle.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Huh. Okay.
You haven't read this, Pele?
No, I haven't. I've seen it. I've stocked it.
Okay, so it's by Brian K. Vaughan before Ideology took over.
Okay.
Before he got all soyed out and with Saga.
Okay.
Yeah.
like I read
That's
Saga. I read Saga so in like Why the Last Man. I read Ex Machina and Why the Last Man. I'm like, I really like Brian K. Vaughan, man. He's really got some like comic book balls. And then I read Saga and I was like, oh.
Yeah,
it's not. Like
I flipped through.
What, Saga sells. I mean,
no, yeah.
we brag on it. It sells.
That's the only book Soy Boys and SJWs actually buy.
I flipped through one issue. I was like, not for me.
Yeah,
I wouldn't call. I've got people that come in the shop. We're talking about like not really what I'd call a bumpkin or a hillbilly, but southern type guys. That they like their Green Lantern, they like their X-Men and stuff like that, and they buy Saga. So it's odd.
I always
It's kind of like a
Sa-
weird cross-pollination thing going on there.
Saga's the book that you and your wife can both enjoy. You're like, oh, cool. I thought of reading comics. So you like I know several dudes who are like, oh yeah, I read Saga. I'm like, why? They're like, this girl I know she likes it. So it's like,
Yeah.
I mean, if that's your way of talking to a girl, right on.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah,
My wife likes manga, so we want to talk
Right.
comics. I gotta read like Battle Angel, Alita, or whatever. So,
I'm sure your wife tells you it's manga, right?
nah. She
Nah.
she knows better than correct me.
Oh!
All right, so
Correct.
we're about 45 minutes into here, so we should probably get this turtle talk underway. So,
yeah.
I don't, Pele, have you read the 3 volumes we're going to be talking about?
No.
All right.
No, I haven't.
We're going to be talking.
I know about turtles. I mean, I know about turtles, but most of the information and knowledge I have of turtles is from the 80s. So.
Okay, that'll be good. That'll be good because I'm sure you'll be able to point out some of the differences in the origin and things like that. Because some things are changed. So I read Volume 1 for the first time, which is the first 4 issues. Volume 2, which is the next 4, and then the micro series. I believe this was your second or third time reading these books.
Yeah.
So what did you think on your second, third time reading through? Is it as good as you remembered? Better?
It gave me the sense of, man, I really got to read this whole series again.
Mm-hmm.
And my second attempt, because the first time I read it, I really liked it, and it was also in the hype of let's reboot our universe era. So Valiant had a reboot, DC had New 52, Marvel came on, and that's when it's pretty much where everything fell apart. Marvel at DC,
Right.
but it was really like cool to see Kevin Eastman being a part of it, and it's almost felt like, it's like your dad's there to not let you screw up for moral support. And
But
so
they take some risks. They change it pretty significantly.
yeah, but they do change it significantly, but it also feels like still true to Turtles because Kevin's there.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Well, yeah, I think it's only for the betterment. I think it makes it more interesting.
Yeah,
I think I'm tired of the female person in the story always being a reporter.
Right.
It's lame. It's tired now. She's a college student. April O'Neil's a college student. That's an intern at a laboratory. Well, that makes sense.
That's how she was in the original. The her being a reporter, the Lois Lane archetype, was made for the cartoon.
Mm-hmm. And it just stuck around for a long time.
It just stuck around because, like I always say, once it becomes iconic, it's hard to change.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
like Iron Man is Robert Downey Jr. now. He's not Tony Stark anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's got to have those little jokes constantly. So, if you've seen the movie, the reboot that they just recently did, the new origin is much closer to that, correct?
Yeah.
So
it's very much, it's much closer. It's not the, I saw in the chat was saying like, oh, when are they going to do the Daredevil Ninja Turtles crossover?
Mm-hmm.
It's not the Daredevil origin, and I think that because that's so, ingrained into, like, it's iconic, where it's like some people actually believe that it's actually a Daredevil like crossover.
Oh, it's the same ooze created both of them.
Yeah. So have you read the very first issue of Ninja Turtles?
Mm-hmm.
So the same, like the truck's coming around a corner, and then it's pretty much the Daredevil origin, but when the truck crashes, it goes into the sewer, and this kid who's walking with this bowl of 4 turtles
Accidentally drops it.
slips, drops, and they go into the sewer, and then the ooze gets them, and so it's Ash would be over here. He could correct me if he was here, but it's a lot of people think that it's they're both the Daredevil and Ninja Turtles is in continuity with each other, but Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird were essentially just playing off all the tropes of the time with the ninjas and the mutants.
Yeah, have you ever read
anamorphic characters with Usagi Yojimbo and Cerberus?
So have you ever read the Shannara series?
Mm-mm.
Oh yeah, God.
So
Awesome.
if you read the very first, the Sword of Shannara, the first 300 pages are almost act for act the exact same thing that happens in Lord of the Rings. Because the writer that was writing it because he was inspired by Lord of the Rings. So he was writing what he knew and what he thought was exciting. And then, 2/3 of the way into the book, he finally found his own voice and made his own story. So likely the creators of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles were heavily influenced by Frank Miller.
There's
probably
no
what
shade.
it is.
No, yeah, even the logo, the logo is straight taken out of Ronin.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, so think of the Ronin cover, and then now think of the Turtles cover.
Interesting.
It's true.
Yeah. So it probably wasn't intentional, is my point.
No, not at all.
The guy that wrote Sword of the Shannara wasn't trying to rip off Lord of the Rings. It was he was inspired by Lord of the Rings, so that's what he found interesting.
Let me grab something so I can show it.
Okay.
I guess what fascinated me the most about Sword of Shannara was just the. Right now, we've been kind of bathed in sword and sorcery and fantasy over the last, 2-3 decades. But at the time, there was Lord of the Rings and a couple others, and that was it. And he did such an incredible amount of world building. World building was so good for not having more giants to stand, on their shoulders. So.
Yeah. I mean, I think that thing's 40 books now, right?
Right.
Which one?
The Shannara series, Terry Brooks.
Geez. Okay.
Yeah.
If you guys get a chance, watch this.
Turtle Power.
Turtle Power. It's the definitive history of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It really goes. It's a good in-depth documentary about how everything started from, 2 guys sitting on a couch watching TV, passed around a piece of art, all the way into the Michael Bay films.
Yeah. So let's get back into the first volume. So the first volume essentially is the origin of the Turtles, and then the reconstruction of the family, right?
Yeah.
Because at the beginning, it's the 3 brothers. It's Leonardo, Donatello, and Michelangelo, and they're looking for Raphael because when they got mutated, Raphael was taken by a cat. And Splinter tries to stop the cat, and I believe he rips his eyeball out, but he still takes off with Raphael. And does he raise him? Was that how you would describe it?
No, because he gets he ends up dropping him somewhere, right? So
yeah, in his neighborhood.
Yeah, Old Hob kind of just is like, oh, okay.
Yeah, he just kind of bullies him.
Yeah, they split. Yeah, they split up pretty quick.
Yeah, so it's pretty interesting. I really like the way they introduced the legacy characters, the really important ones, because so Raphael's walking by a house and he hears this kid getting beat up by his dad who's drunk, and he kicks a door down and helps him out and beats the shit out of his dad, and it turns out to be Casey Jones.
Yeah, that is definitely different than the last origin of Casey. Casey
Hmm.
was just a crazy dude. He's kind of like the Badger in a lot of ways. Like he came
Yeah,
back
he's like
from
a vigilante, like not a
uh-huh.
good one. He's
Yeah, he kind of came back from I believe the original Casey was like he came back from Nam and he was kind of pissed.
Yeah, so he's a little insane. So in this one, he's an abused kid that wants to help other people out. So he and Raphael are kind of like only have each other. They start walking the streets, and Casey Jones is a hockey player, so he wears the mask, and they start protecting people. Which I think it's a really good. It's a really good origin, and it explains why Casey has the mask, why he does these things, and it doesn't make him seem crazy.
Yeah. There's a lot of love for just the turtles in itself. Like, the scientist that works at the Stockman labs.
Mm-hmm. The hippie dude.
Yeah, his name is Chet.
Mm-hmm.
Chet is also the same name of the kid who was carrying the turtles and the four turtles in a bowl and tripped. That's Chet. So it's
Okay,
also
so he's
like,
still part of the origin.
yeah. So he's still part of the origin, and it's like there's a lot of callback and Easter eggs to all turtles as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point, for me, like that's what's most important. It's like everything could have its own thing, but like turtles need to they're 35 years old as of May 1st.
Mm-hmm.
So yesterday was their 35th anniversary. So it's
Yeah,
like they're really ingrained into pop culture. So I feel like turtles need to always respect its past.
mm-hmm.
So with the volume one, it definitely does that, and it gives me like a lot of fan service, a lot of like nostalgia. It's not really nostalgia because I didn't even read TMNT like 84 until I was way older, but nonetheless, you get all those good vibes that you would want out of a Turtles book.
Mm-hmm.
I still have the mic. All right.
My bad.
I was trying to pass you the ball.
Okay, so what do you think about the art in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? It's it's pretty distinct.
Yeah, I kind of feel like it wasn't until it doesn't really get its momentum until later on in the series.
Okay, because I really like the characters. I like all the origins. I like most everything that they're doing. I like that April O'Neil's not as annoying as I remember her being in the cartoons and stuff. But the art, I'm not as in love with. Like it's pretty good, but
Well, yeah, especially if your first Turtles comic was like Shredder in Hell, and then you go to this.
yeah, that was.
Yeah, you could be like, I think. I mean, I couldn't look, but I should have been more prepared. Yeah,
I think my first Turtle comic was actually TMNT Batman. So Freddie Williams, like,
even
kind of sets the bar like
really high. Yeah, it does definitely set the bar really high. I feel like they were kind of going for like a loose, like they're like, oh well, it's the Turtles, like we can get away with like paying pennies on the dollar for this art. And not to say the guy is bad, but you could kind of tell it's like there's like a love for it, as well as like you could tell the dude's like, I get to draw the Ninja Turtles, right? But it's also like he probably like he's not really quite ready for the big time, but he does have some really good moments. Like that first splash page, he spent probably the most time on.
Yeah.
Where like with Old Hob on one side and then the Turtles and Splinter on the other.
The first little clash,
Yeah,
like
you
a
can
little
tell.
street war.
Yeah, and like the pages where he doesn't have to do panels, he does really great.
Mm-hmm. It's the
But
sequential part that's throwing him off.
yeah, like he's good, but he's very loose and quick, which I do appreciate loose and quick style. But it is definitely an art in itself to like have a good style while being loose and quick. Like Howard Porter to me is loose and quick, and he's
Mm-hmm.
great. But it took him 30 years to get that.
Yeah.
You know,
So
where you could kind of tell that what's the dude's name who wrote the Turtles or drew the Turtles? It was,
is it Duncan?
I think so. Yeah,
Or Dan Duncan, I believe.
yeah
Okay.
he's definitely good, but it was also I listened to a podcast called Turtle Power, and they
Mm-hmm.
were talking about how like the simpler time of each turtle didn't need, back in the day, like the way you just
It was the
differentiated the turtle,
masks.
the masks and the different tints of green. But now in later days, we have uh, everyone has their own specific little differences, just besides, they're different heights now, they're different body sizes, uh, different facial expressions. One may have a scar on their chest or something.
Mm-hmm.
There's like a lot of different subtleties, like especially in the 2012 series, like Donnie has a big gap in his teeth, like me. Uh, and so
Yeah,
yeah,
it's Dan Duncan.
Dan Duncan, yeah. But
So
there's a point in the Turtles where the art changes, and the guy, draws all the turtles very different from one another. And I think it's Santaluco,
yeah,
right?
Matthias
Yeah,
Santalupo. That dude's
yeah.
awesome.
I think once he takes over the book and art, the book definitely like jumps up.
Mm-hmm.
So
So he did the Secret History of the Foot Clan. I know that,
yeah,
and now he's doing
that's
the
a great
Shredder in
book.
Hell.
That's a great book.
Yeah, that's on my to-do list. But I got to get through the first ones first. So,
Ah,
the first volume, like I said, it starts out. You get the origin story of the turtles. They lose Raphael, Splinter, and the three brothers are searching him out. At the very end, they find him, and the family is reunited, and that basically closes the book on the first story arc. Now, the second story arc is about well, how would you describe it? I would say it's about
it's world building.
yeah.
Very
Well, it's also explains their other origin, so to speak.
yeah
And you get
yeah.
the story of it's Hamato Yoshi, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it tells the story of Hamato Yoshi in feudal Japan with his four sons. He was a member of the Foot Clan. And I guess he stepped out of line of what's the name of Shredder?
Oroko Saki.
Yeah, so Rokosaki. And his wife is murdered. So his wife makes him promise to take the boys and go and find someplace safe and not avenge her death. That's her last wish before she passes away. So Matayoshi takes the boys and sneaks off, and he's raising them, and eventually Saki finds them. It's actually
And
a really terrible scene.
yeah, it's pretty sad. But what I really do appreciate about these books too is that they're a quick read.
Oh, they're very fast. I read a whole volume in about 40 minutes.
Oh well, you read super fast.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I can't even imagine how Batman 60 something was where there's no dialogue. You just like open
Now
it.
that's a complaint that I get a lot from customers. Generalizing, like, oh, what, a comic costs $4 and I can read one in like 2-3 minutes. It it's not right. It's too expensive. And it's like, well, you're not reading it right.
Well, you gotta enjoy the art.
It's like
But
you really need to look at the art, how it goes with the story, and kind of absorb, take in all of the whole experience, the visual experience of it. The way I read comics, just general ideas, the artwork kind of sparks like a movie in my mind. A lot of people the people that really I think enjoy the art form the most, it does the same. It's like the words and the visuals, coalesce, and you get this flowing movie, this film in your head. And I guess I don't understand, but I guess some people it doesn't work that way, and they don't get it, no matter
I call
how.
it. I refer to it as the language of comics. Once you understand the language, it becomes an animated film in your head.
I don't think that. Well, it's just I think that people just have a lot of problems connecting with visual media in that way, unless it's already animated for them. It's just.
Yeah, I definitely can't read Shutter in Hell that fast. That one's
No.
like that's a 30-minute read per issue because like there's so much crazy stuff in that book, but I found these to be like really crisp and fast, and everything like flows perfectly. Like I don't have to sit there and ponder and be like, I don't exactly know what's happening here.
Yeah, like what I do like I was saying, what I do like about them is that they're crisp and fast. You can read. I'm not ever really opposed to reading a trade in one sitting. I actually enjoy it because it's like you get really immersed into it, and then when it ends, you're like, darn it, it ended. I don't want to see these covers. I want more story.
Yeah.
But I forgot where I was going with this, but oh yeah, I enjoy them for the sense that like they work really well as a collection. Like I have a lot of these in the free comic book day. You may have seen in my video. They do this. They kind of go through story arc for story arc. I really appreciated this as a whole. Like, and it even does the side, like the micro series. If you look at it, it shows like here you could read this one too. But you don't need to. The side quest. They definitely feel like movies. And so if you're a Turtles fan, it's like it's almost worth, you can get them on. I always say buy them from the comic book shop if you can. But for $13, like an hour-long movie in your head is pretty worth it to me. It's like you buy a DC animated film, they're about an hour long. And you pay $30 for a Blu-ray now.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but the whole, is it worth it? Isn't it worth it? Because the writing for the trades thing, you can go through it and be like, well, this five issue story arc, which is essentially a movie, would cost $20, and it's probably takes an hour and a half to read. But like if you have a first rate artist and you have a great writer, like it's a better entertainment experience, to me than a movie.
No, yeah,
is my whole thing about it. Plus, when you're watching a movie, everything's given to you. You don't get to see what the people are thinking. You don't get to, imagine what it would look like. So, kind of takes away your imagination.
Yeah,
the reader imagination out of the equation.
Like Pele was saying, with people have a hard time reading the sequential art. I think that's people who lack an imagination.
Yeah.
Like when I was, I don't really ever talk about this, but I'm slowly working on a comic with a buddy of mine, and we're talking beats and story, and he's like, "Oh well, we gotta have a panel of him doing, showing that." I'm like, "No, because if we go from this panel and he's doing this, and then we move to the next panel and it's doing that, well, the reader who reads comics will marry those two things already in his head or her head. They're like, oh yeah, he already did this. He did it between panels, and it like that's I think the true way of reading comics is being able to marry between panels, the movement between panels. That's why it's super jarring when you turn the page and you're in a different location without any explanation.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, oh wait, what? Where am I? Who? Okay, we're here now.
So
but Turtles doesn't do that at all. It's lots of flow.
Yeah, it's
Flow.
it's like seamless. Like it just goes right through the end. And so I believe in the second trade, there's more, like you learn more about Hobbs, and he's like a pawn for Baxter Stockman, right?
Stockman, yeah.
Yeah. So being the Turtles or the cartoon watcher that I always thought Stockman was like a fly.
He has various iterations of him, but he's always evil scientist guy.
Yeah, but here he's like a pretty well-spoken, kind of smooth operator, like scientist guy that's working with General Krang, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and so then you find out he's the one that's actually responsible for the turtles. Krang was paying for him to develop like these serums, one that he was testing out on Splinter, and another one that he's testing out on the turtles in their own cage, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, essentially making a super soldier serum from wherever Krang is from. I don't want to spoil it, but
yeah, there's some other weird stuff going on there, but things aren't really going well for Stockman because they lost all the serum and the mutagen, and they have reports of giant turtles beating the shit out of ninjas around town and stuff. So it gets pretty interesting, but so I really enjoyed the trades of 1 and 2. I thought the backstory that they gave Yoshi and the Sons was beyond tragic. But the really interesting thing I thought about it was the reframing of the relationship between Leonardo and Donatello.
versus the Leo and Raph.
Yes, because in the past, Raphael has always been the curmudgeon, the instigator, the one that doesn't want to go with the plan. But everyone else always kind of just follows Leo's lead, right?
Yeah, and it was and there's also like a lot of times they kind of agree with Raph too, because Raph's like, we should be going out there and kicking some ass, and Leo's like, no, we gotta regroup, we gotta go back to the lair, get ourselves situated. And so
go
ahead.
So in this new framing of the relationship, the antagonism is between Leo and Donatello, which makes a ton of sense because in my times in the military, when you have this really scientific, logical thinker guy, and then you have like more emotional type leader guy, they almost always butt heads because they never want to do the same thing, and the more scientific guy always questions what the more feeling kind of Leonardo character always does. So I think it's more true to life. I think it's a better framing of the relationship, and I loved it. What do you think about it?
Yeah, I agree. Like it's definitely different, and it that I could always go one of two ways. It can be like, oh, this is really good, I like this, or it could be like, why'd you do this?
Yeah, like they're fabricating conflict that doesn't need to be there.
Yeah, and it, like you said, it fits really well. Like Jamal was saying last week, it's like it's noticeable. And I remember when I first read it, I kind of didn't appreciate it. I was just like, oh, because Raph, I was looking at it totally wrong when I first read it, where it was because Raph's not here, Leo needs someone to argue with,
Mm-hmm.
just to like make Leo that character. It's like Cyclops. Cyclops is a perfectly fine character, but he's only really an
He
interesting
needs
character
Wolverine.
when Wolverine's around. Same thing with Leo. So I felt when I first read it, I felt like they were just kind of just forcing it, but coming back to it now, it definitely feels way more natural. Like you said, with your time in the military and just like my time in the restaurant.
Yeah, once you get around people, you start seeing types of people that butt heads.
Yeah, then there's like, it just feels more natural actually. Like Raph and Leo is more of a stereotype where it's like, and so it always kind of makes Raph look like the bad guy. So he goes and punches a wall and leaves.
Please, I'm out of here.
Yeah, right. And that's like it works for him, but it's definitely definitely feels more natural. It feels more brotherly too.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
And so one of the interesting points is the Turtles don't have a memory of feudal Japan. Only Splinter does. It's not, it hasn't been revealed why. I think it has something to do with the drugs that they gave him that made him more sensitive, like to his past incarnations. But that hasn't been revealed yet, and I don't know that. So Leonardo takes Splinter's word on faith that they're the reincarnated sons of Hamato Yoshi. Donatello does not believe that. He's like, that doesn't make sense. I've never seen any evidence that even exists. You have to prove it to me before I'm going to believe it. And of course, there's no proof that you're the reincarnated souls of the sons of Hamato Yoshi from feudal Japan. So I think it's perfect conflict, and it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And so I really enjoyed that. And obviously they are the reincarnated souls. That or Shredder or Splinter wouldn't have these memories. Well, at least he is. But the sons, they could be something else that's not revealed until the next issue, right?
Yeah.
When they do the micro series. So, I think it's interesting. Questions of faith, loyalty. Who do you believe? Is my old man nuts? Do I want to believe him on this one? Kind of thing. So I thought it was really interesting, and I liked it a lot. I think that kind of puts a bow on the second trade. Do you have anything else to add to it?
I just think people should buy it, and if you're sketchy on it, get your $5.99 membership for 2 weeks and give Turtles give them a. You can read each trade in an hour. You said 40 minutes, so maybe.
Yeah, I booked through them, but I only get to read comic books for like a certain period of time at night, and that's also the time when I get to create videos. So I have to kind of zoom through those so I can get my work done. So normally, I am not a big fan of like the little side tales. I think they're distracting and they don't normally provide a lot. So I was pretty skeptical going into the micro series reading it, but it needed to be in there because it was the continuity, to maintain it, the story. So I came away like severely impressed with two of the stories. Because you get a micro series of the first one's Raphael, then you get a Michelangelo story, Donatello, then Leonardo.
Yeah.
And the two bookends, Raphael and Leonardo were awesome. And I think even the Leonardo issue might have been my favorite single issue of all 12 through there. Okay. What did you think about it?
There's just a lot of. I also kind of was like, oh, side quests, right? When I first started it before, and then when my friend actually committed to it the first time, and he's like, dude, you got to read it. And I was like, nah, I've been doing this comic thing a long time, man. Like, just because it says it in the little box at the bottom of a panel doesn't really mean you have to.
Mm-hmm. It's just helpful.
He's like, nah, like there's like important parts in here. And I'm like, yeah. And then I actually, he's like, you could borrow it, and I was like, oh darn it, now I need to own this myself.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually, they actually like marry the two with the micro series and the ongoing series, where it's like we talked about this before, where it's like the A book is the most everyone buys the A book, but no one really buys the B book.
Mm-hmm.
And you can do without. Pele, you're clicking.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Replying to someone.
That better be a super chat.
No.
Yeah, right.
Now it's gotten real. But yeah, like when I read the micro series, it's just like, oh wow, this is actually feels important. It actually feels like you are actually missing a piece of the puzzle without it.
Absolutely. The Michelangelo story is just a little story.
Yeah.
You don't really need to read
with
that
the Donatello.
Donatello is the same thing. It's just a little interesting story that gives you some more further characterization of Donatello. And, he feels a little alone because he can't talk computers with his brothers. We've all been there. I have 3 brothers myself. I remember, I really wish we could talk about this, but I'm the only one that likes it. But so we'll start with the Raphael one, the one I thought was really good, but we'll end with the Leonardo, which I thought was the best of all the 12 issues I read. The Raphael one's really important because it introduces a very key character. I believe the character's name is Alopex.
Alopex, yeah. I always have a hard time with that one too.
And so basically, Alopex is some type of
snow fox.
No, but it's like an assassin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so she kind of like plays like she's being mugged and she's in danger, and dupes Casey Jones and Raphael into helping her, and Raph is gonna take her back to the lair, right? And then he realizes, like, how did she land that kick? Oh, she must be trained. Then he realizes
his words were, "It seemed real professional," and he goes, "Ah,
yeah, I can't take her back there." So they end up having a.
Did you catch the giant Easter egg in that page or that story?
Perhaps, maybe.
The muggers.
Mm-mm.
That's Bebop and Rocksteady.
Was it? Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, the glasses, the weird Kyle hat. Yeah, that's Bebop and Rocksteady.
Yeah, for some reason I thought that happened in the last episode or the last issue of the volume 2, but I actually wanted to bring that up. I thought it was a good introduction to those characters as 2 enormous meatheads that they think they can't compete with the turtles until they get transformed themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So I like that one with Get Lot. I really like Raphael's story. I like the friendship that he has with Casey Jones. Like, it feels pretty natural, and it makes sense that they would be allies and almost like brothers themselves. And it also gives Casey Jones an easy in with the turtles. You don't have to do something like super contrived to make a relationship. But then when I got to the Leonardo issue, I was really, really impressed. So basically, he ends up on what's up?
It's your first introduction to that. It's like the prequel to the prequel of the Shredder in Hell story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's all really interesting. So he's they're out on a patrol, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they kind of get broken apart, and he ends up on a rooftop, and he gets his ass completely handed to him. And it's one of the best beat downs I've ever seen a hero take in a comic book, and I absolutely loved it.
Wow.
And at the end, because I guess there's stories going around with the Foot Clan that there's these turtles that are dangerous, and this ninja finally meets him on the rooftop, and he beats the shit out of him, and he catches him. He's got him. He's kind of holding him over the roof, the edge of the roof, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm not very impressed with you at all," and just tosses him like he's garbage.
Yeah,
And,
that's
Wow.
and you're like, so that's not Shredder, but it's somebody important. And then when they finally Leo, they find him, they take him back to the lair. He's almost like shivering, and he's all fucked up, and you can see he's like 80 billion times more determined to go find the guy. And I like what it said about his character.
yeah. He's the guy who wakes up early and trains,
Mhm.
and beats his own body down. So by the time he actually shows up to the fight, he's kind of not the best fighter.
Mm-hmm. But
You know,
I really like the resolve that he ended up showing. It would have been very easy to say, I don't ever want to go out there again. I just got a beating that I didn't think was even possible. But he was like very resolved. Like, we have to go find these guys. They're very dangerous. And it also touches on the reincarnation bit, and it kind of confirms that they are the reincarnated sons, because Leo starts having memories of his mother, Madayoshi's dead wife.
But when early on, when I was like really going down the rabbit hole of Turtles, I was like, well, I'm gonna have to remember these Japanese character names, because I'm gonna keep saying them. Because
I hear, reading Shredder in Hell is like a lot of characters I've never heard of, lots of history. Like, I don't know Shredder's dad. I don't know his first master. he's confronting all these people.
Even Savat's in it.
Mm-hmm.
Who's
the French guy on the rooftop that was getting jumped.
So it's like, because I fell off Turtles in trade around volume 9, and including the micro series. So that's kind of like anywhere from like 14 to 16 graphic novels, and I've fallen off there, and so I picked up Shredder in Hell because simply the title in itself is like very catchy. It's Shredder in Hell. You're like, oh, this is going to be edgelord, and you flip through it and you're like, oh wait, the art's really good. And then you read it and then you're like, oh wow, this is a really compelling story in the Turtles universe.
Yeah, it's essentially Shredder is facing all of his past demons in hell and trying to prove that he's worthy of returning to the world.
Yeah. And then by the time I got to the second issue, I had remembered, oh crap, I remember reading this, but it's been so long that I've forgotten. And so I went and flipped through some of my like Secret History of the Foot Clan and like some of the other ones, and I was like, I think I should just start reading Turtles again. And then I picked up Urban Legends. I had it, and I was like, I'm gonna read Urban Legends. I'm really enjoying what they got going on with Turtles right now. And then 93 just came out, and so it's like, it's a perfect time to be a Turtles fan while hating on DC. For me,
so Urban Legends is interesting for me. I think I like the first 4 issues, but then like the concept kind of was like, all right, yeah, they're all
Urban Legends.
All right, this is getting old fast. I was like, I'd rather just read the regular series. So then Shredder in Hell came out, and then I saw the jumping on point on issue 93. So I'm glad to be in it. I'm really enjoying it. It's definitely a good change of pace. Like I said, there's just less and less DC for me to read. Marvel's getting better, but it's only at the very top. Like everything, past their top 10 titles sucks. And they're producing like 100 a month, right?
Yeah, it's crazy.
So the amount of garbage that you have to sift through to find a good comic book nowadays is insanity.
Well, and what's good with like the Turtles stuff is that it's such a tight knit group,
Mm-hmm.
where you can tell that Shredder and Hell is really perfectly interconnected to all the things that came before it in that franchise.
Oh yeah, you can
Same.
tell Santaluco's like he absolutely loves Turtles.
Yeah, my guess, I mean, this is just speculation, but I'm guessing 100 is going to be the return of Shredder.
Yeah, makes sense. Hmm.
So I think, will the timing be right too? We have 7 issues left. Yeah.
Yeah,
Timing will be.
yeah, because
Timing will.
Shredder and Hell's only, I think, a 6-part miniseries.
Did 3 come out yet?
It's this week, this coming week.
Okay.
My bad.
Okay, cool.
It's kind of weird for me here because due to like publishing rights, like my comic book shop can't buy Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or Power Rangers.
Really?
So if I want, I have to find them all on digital, but I can't order them through my shop. If I want them, they do like an order every 6 months. And I'm like, I'm not waiting 6 months to get all these books. So it's just something to do with the Asian market. Not sure what it is. There must be like an exclusive distributor in Asia.
What about Amazon?
Yeah, but shipping is really expensive to here, man. It's like,
you don't get.
Yeah, how bad is it? I was wondering because I've tried. I mean, I ship to like friends. I have one friend in Tokyo, and I have another friend. Just a few friends in Australia. Is it pretty similar as far as rates?
Yeah. So like I supported the Alterna Comics, Alternaween.
Mm-hmm.
So I bought 50 Alterna Comics for $25.
Right.
And shipping was $75.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, that's impressive.
So
in a bad way.
For me, it was interesting because every book that I buy is marked up 20% off cover price just to buying it here. And then I also have to pay a shipping price because they have to ship it to me from Manila. So Alterna Comic ends up costing over $2 for me to get it. So when I did the math, it was like, well, I'm actually getting cheaper, and I'm supporting something that I respect and I wanted to be a part of. But so 50 comic books doesn't weigh that much. It's $75.
I don't think so.
No. So
That's
crazy. It's like Tim Lim when he did his Trump Space Force book for $25 with no shipping costs overseas. I was like, he's insane. It's got to be $15 just for the shipping.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Just for one book in an envelope.
Crazy.
It is. It's nuts. I'm severely thankful that I do have my shop. They order things for me. They order Alterna for me. They order Antarctic Press when I'm asked them to buy some of Lim's books. Stuff like that. So I have it much better than other people. I've talked to other people overseas, and they can't get anything except for like trades. They don't get floppies and stuff. So it sucks. The only way to get stuff here for any type of reasonable price is to ship it by boat.
The actual shipping.
Yeah, you pay a flat fee for a box, and then there's no weight restrictions. You get so much space inside the box, and it costs you like $200. But it's a lot cheaper than if you were to ship anything by mail.
Dang. Yeah, that's great. I mean, yeah, you definitely need Comixology Unlimited at that point.
Yes, absolutely. Plus, like houses in the Philippines aren't as big as the houses in the U.S. I don't have like a whole room that I can just store comic books in, so I can't even buy physical copies of everything that I want to because I'm married and I don't want to get divorced.
Right. Good point.
My wife's like, no, you can't buy anymore. You have this much space. Okay. So.
It could be worse. You could live in Japan. You could live in Tokyo. You know,
Oh yeah.
where a large 1-bedroom apartment is a whopping 350 square feet.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know, when I met my wife, you know, she's Filipino. The apartment she lived in, like you could it wasn't big enough to fit a bed. I was like, I cannot believe you live in this closet. She's like, this is a good apartment. Okay.
It's like Bender.
When I lived in Tokyo for a short while, it was 3 months there, doing a little bit of work and just a lot of downtime. It was, kind of like a vacation, work vacation. But I was there for 3 months, and my apartment was like 240 square feet, and I kept complaining about it until I found out another guy I worked with, all he had was enough room for a hide-a-bed couch and his kitchenette, and that was it.
Yeah.
He basically pooped almost in his kitchen. So, and I was like, dude, that's disgusting.
Yeah, that's kind of the way it is over, overseas, especially in Asia. Everything's space is at a premium.
Yeah.
Kind of
Hey, is it true you guys don't have stoves?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I have a stove.
All right. Yeah, I knew my friend was messing with me. He's like, because my
No,
dad lives in.
When I met my wife, she didn't have a stove.
Okay, yeah, my dad lives in Thailand.
They've got to have a stove because they've got to have a place to cook their spam.
Well, yeah, she had a burner for boiling water.
Yeah, so my dad lives in Thailand, and my buddy was like trying to tell me like he's like, yeah, they don't have stoves in Thailand. I'm like,
no, some people don't have stoves.
It sounds like total like just you heard something once and one person believed it, so then everyone, it just like sounds like a wives' tale. I was like,
no, there's probably a lot of people in Thailand that don't have stoves.
Right. When I lived in Japan, I didn't have a stove per se. I didn't have an oven, but I had like those 2-burner hot plates.
Yeah.
I had a hot plate with 2 burners that plugged into the wall, and then I had a toaster oven. As far as my oven was concerned, but that was
yeah. When my friend said that, I'm like, dude, you can't trick me. They have stoves. Like,
no, yeah, but not everyone has stoves for certain. Like, I don't want to get into all the details. It'll freak you out, but every culture is a little different. The living experience here is just a little different. We're very blessed. Me and my family are. We have a nice home. It's 2 stories. We got multiple bedrooms and stuff like that now. But we have a stove. We do have a stove, but it doesn't have a heat gauge on it, so I can't just put it on 350 and forget it. I have to look at the little manual. Like, okay, I need to turn it on high for 2 minutes and low on 1 minute. And
that's interesting.
Yeah.
So it actually takes skill to be a good cook.
Well, yeah, of course. It always took skill, man. Are you a good cook? Well, never mind. You work in a restaurant. What am I doing? So
I'm good when I have to be when I'm getting paid for it.
So I did want to ask you this. I've seen the pictures of you getting ready to read your Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles with what looked to be like Domino's. Can you not make better pizza for yourself than Domino's, my man?
It's worse than Domino's. It's 7-Eleven hot and ready.
Oh, bro, that could have been out there 12 hours.
No. Right. So they.
Later, Breen. Good to see you, man.
Oh, he's out of here? Yeah, he's old and he was up all night talking to me. Yeah, see you, Breen. No, 7-Eleven really stepped up their game.
Oh, God.
I know it sounds totally nuts, but that pizza is like, have you ever heard of a Papa Murphy?
Yeah, they take and bake stuff.
It's good stuff.
It's essentially like that. It's like a Papa Murphy's, but 7-Eleven.
Oh, okay.
Like
So
a
it's like
Papa
so they
Murphy's,
have-
but not good.
yeah, like it's it's almost
That's
like
cold, man. You're mean.
no, it's like
All right, Stacks out of here. Good to see you, Stacks.
it's between it's the 7-Eleven pizza is one step up from Little Caesars Hot and Ready.
Oh
Ah.
yeah,
Okay.
it's like a $4 pizza. It's amazing.
Yeah, so yeah, it's one step up between a Little Caesars pizza in the fact that they take it out of the plastic bag and put it in the toaster oven for you.
Mm-hmm.
Ah. Okay.
Right. And it's like $6 and it's right down the street from my house. And I was like,
But you're a
Oh,
chef, man. Or
yeah,
are you a sous chef? What are we talking about here?
I mean, either way, I don't got time to roll out some dough and throw it in the air and
Jesus.
make a nice sauce and then grate a bunch of cheese and then slice a bunch of deli meats. I don't got time for that shit. I'm trying to read a Turtles comic. I want to go to
I guess you want to be like the Turtles. You know, they're not. It's not like Donatello and Michelangelo are making their own pizzas anyway.
Yeah.
They're probably having 7-Eleven quality slices.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never could get over the pizza that they was it licorice and anchovies was
Yeah, they would
was
just
Donatello's favorite pizza.
They would just make shit up. Like the peanut butter banana pie, with anchovies and oysters. You're like, what? Why would you even put that on a pizza?
So we have about 20 minutes left on the stream. This is just like an informal type thing. I did want to talk about one thing. The news about EVS commissioning his own Cyber Frog like crossover covers with Dynamite.
Right.
So what do you think about that, Pele? I think this is genius.
I think it's smart. It's really good promotion. And if anything, it's just going to set the SJWs on fire. So, they're pissed that he could potentially, that he's getting printed by somebody else. I've noticed that the amount of hate that he received in that one announcement tweet was just delicious. It was just,
So he's going to have some of these books are going to be his, right, to sell?
Yeah, most of them are.
Yeah,
I mean,
so
he's basically paying for a print run,
but with his covers on it.
right?
So I think it's genius because he has a supply and demand issue. People demand, they want new art of his, but he's still working on his other book, so he can't really put it out there. So I think this is genius, and he can charge whatever he wants.
Right. Yeah, he can, and he will.
Yeah,
but I think it'll be reasonable. I think that these are floppies. These are not trade paperback, square bound kind of situations. This is a floppy, and I don't know if they're actually going to be selling in comic book stores or if he's just going to sell them direct. But,
if they sell them in comic book stores, are you going to order some?
Yeah. Oh hell yes.
Yeah, I can't imagine they're not going to be collectible.
Yeah, I'll order some. If they're distributed through Diamond, then yeah, I'll definitely at least I'll at least get a standard 10, 20 copies. So
there's a lot of stuff he can do with that. He could throw some autographs on them. That'll throw up the value. Probably do some little doodles on the inside page, stuff like that.
Yeah. Also, he's going to be doing that really high-end trading card sets for Cyber Frog and Rainbow Brute and some of his other ideas. So these are going to be like he's going to have like the high-end premium cards, and per pack he's going to have like sketch. He's going to have sketch cards, full art cards, signed and other types of precious metal cards and stuff like that. So this is going to be some next level, next tier stuff. I don't know if have you seen the Kiss premium card set?
No.
I have. I watched his video on it.
Wow. You know, I ordered 5 packs of those. They're crazy. They're like $400 a pack, $300 a pack. But that's what the retail is on them. But I was able to get a really good wholesale price on them, and wow, you know, I kept 2 of them for myself. You know, I'm a pretty big Kiss fan from way back, but yeah, I mean, we're talking premium hand artwork, you know, from the highest, you know, one of the top tier talents of his generation. So, yeah, I think that's gonna move.
So Bats, I know I think you were one of his first subs, right, on his channel when he first started up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're an EVS guy. Is this something that you're going to be interested in? If it's available, you're going to try and grab a Vampirella Cyberfrog?
Only if it comes to the shop. I'll
Yeah,
pick
that's
it
what
up.
But you'll pick it up even if it's a book you wouldn't have read otherwise.
No, yeah. I mean, to be completely honest, I'm feeling a bit burnt by EVS because I've waited too long. And I'm just like, give me my damn Frog comic. Stop announcing shit. Stop doing this. Just finish the damn comic. Like,
well,
I mean, he's still working on it every single night.
I understand. But I'm not trying to sound like bitter and anything, because it's like, look, I understand that his YouTube channel is his main source of income. But it's like, you know, I'm not like Pele where I could just drop $1,000 on a court case. So
Yeah, I'm not saying just drop $1,000 in a court.
I know, but it's
a
just like
lot more than $1,000.
Yeah.
But,
I feel like I spent $100, and sometimes I'm like, where the hell's my book? Especially when I've gotten everything other than Red Rooster and Cyberfrog. And I'm like,
$100.
I bought multiple copies.
Double
Okay. Yeah, I did. I got the first cover, two copy bundle with the other crap with it, and then I got the Salamandroid cover, and then I skipped the third. You know,
yeah,
the combo
and
cover.
I feel like there's times where I feel like I got suckered into telethons, and I'm like, I know it's coming, but you know, it's taken too long.
Had you ever ordered an Indiegogo or Kickstarter comic before?
I have not, but I also got my Zach. But I also got my Zach. I got my Bigfoot Bill. I got my John Della Rose stuff. I've gotten everything I've gotten that came out after Cyberfrog.
Right.
And
those are rare. Those are rare for Kickstarter Indiegogo comics to come out that quickly. You know, usually the way I look at it, and Zach brought it up. You know, DNC Zach brought up that you know, if a comic is 6 months late, you know, whatever, he doesn't even consider it late until it's a year late.
Yeah, but he's also someone that's releasing on that platform.
Yeah.
But
I think he's a little biased on that, even though I'm a huge fan.
And Zach had to learn everything from the ground up.
That's
This was his EVS. He wasn't.
That was his sixth crowdfunding campaign. That's not exactly true, but he never done one on that scale. I'll give him that.
Yeah, but you know,
Zach actually had more experience than EVS as far as being a publisher, because you know EVS never published anything himself before.
Well, plus he also had Brett Smith on his team, who's actually published his own books, New York Times bestseller, you know, Clinton Cash type stuff.
Yeah, it's just I just want my book. So it's like when I hear it's like we're making trading cards and we're doing this over at Dynamite, I'm just like, finish the damn book already, man. Like, I know
those aren't taking his time though. Those aren't taking up his time. You know, that's just something other people are doing for him.
Well, I think 88 pages in 1 year is ridiculous. I'm
I do
with
too.
You think that's too little?
Yes.
No, I don't think it's too little. I think it's taken him too long. I think that he meandered about and didn't finish the book.
Well, he didn't meander. He spent.
Well, the
He
detail
just.
is much higher than he ever anticipated.
Well, he.
He's putting more detail into the work. I've sat and watched him for like 1-2 hours doing pages for Cyberfrog, and I've rarely ever have seen comics with that level of visual detail before. It is insane. Working on one page for, 2 days. He may not be the fastest artist out there, but one splash page taking 2 and 3 days is crazy.
Well, it's also a matter of. Well, I got to make 900 videos all the time, so that eats up the majority of his time. I mean, Wes talks about how it takes him 6 hours to make a video.
But he's doing the artwork while he's doing the video.
Well, no, because when he's reading a news article about Captain Marvel's cat.
Yeah, but a lot of his videos do have him doing artwork while he's doing the video.
No, yeah, that's the live streams, but I'm talking to stop to read a frickin' a Huffington Post article about Captain Marvel and her cat, and to come up with a bunch of jokes, and then to make a video about it, and it's just that eats up your time. So it's what an hour you could have been putting into the book, you put out a video, and I get it, because that hour of time that it takes to make a video, it's being monetized and you're making a bunch of money. So it's you got one over the other, and it's I feel like he's wasted more time than he's put. Not so much wasted, but he didn't balance his YouTube channel and his comic book production evenly. And that
I don't think that. Here's the thing too. He's not going to sit there and do art 16 hours a day. You can't sit there and do that. He's okay. I'm going to sound like I'm going to sound like an EVS apologist here, but we've not seen detail in the product of this size before, especially not nothing at Marvel and DC has ever done this level of detail before. And frankly, I've been on Indiegogo and bought Indiegogo, Kickstarter comics, back to other projects before. 1, 2, 3 years late, they finally arrive, and with almost no word whatsoever from the person doing the work. Maybe they drop in a word. They drop in something. Again? They'll drop in something every 2 or 3 months to let you know how the update is, an update as to what's going on. And, with Ethan, you just send him a tweet and say, "How's everything going?" He'll reply.
That may work for you.
No,
it don't work for me.
Just ask him. I'm a backer. How's the progress? He'll reply.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm like Wes just said. A book that takes too long. Are you inclined to buy the next one?
Yeah, because I don't think it's really been too long.
Okay, well,
I mean, there's the people are
I'm probably not going to cut. That's the thing.
How long is too long? I don't think it's been too long yet.
Well, with me, I'm in a weird situation. So when he finishes the book and he says it's good, he's going to start shipping in July. He's going to ship it to all the U.S. people first. So then he's going to ship it to me in August, and then I'm going to get it 60 days later.
Did it take 60? Wow.
If I'm lucky, it'll be here 60 days later. So I'll get it in October. And it cost me, I believe, $50 for a book and an ash can.
Yeah.
For me, it just doesn't work.
I understand. No,
the only book I'm planning on backing Indiegogo wise is probably Doug Ernst's book. Just because he's a really good guy. He's really helped me out with the channel and stuff. So I want to show him some support. But but I'm definitely off the. I'm on the. If you don't have a digital option, then you just don't have an option for
Oh,
me
I don't
anymore.
blame you. That's just that's
Yeah,
an expense that's hard to justify.
Yeah, it's like shipping's like $20 to $25
Mm-hmm.
through those books.
Another thing was for me, it's like I really like that Zach will not show, like Zach already pretty much has a book 80-90% done, and we still haven't seen it because he wants it to be done before he can even crowdfund it. So when he crowdfunds it, it's ready to go. And I really respect that. Like, and he has other, not just the one that it's 90% done. He has one that's like 60% done, and then he has another one that's 30% done. So he's moving.
Jawbreaker's already shipped.
Yeah, no, yeah. I got my replacement too. I got both.
Yeah, I got mine too. Yeah, my first one arrived really beat up.
Yeah, mine was.
Mine shockingly arrived well. I'm still waiting on Graveyard Shift.
My first one, the spine was, I mean, it was. Let me see here. I can't do the camera. Never mind. But I was going to do a camera here to show how cracked the spine was, but it split. The spine got split. This is stupid mailers that his first fulfillment company used, and they were just like, "Oh God, man."
Yeah, I said it was a glorified grocery bag. That's what I refer to it as.
Pretty much, yeah. It was awful.
It was like
corners off. You know, and I wouldn't get pissed if it was a $5 or $6 book. I wouldn't get pissed over something like that. You know, this was $25 plus shipping. It's $32, and it arrives, you know, looking like, you know, somebody had, you know, slid it across the floor and stepped on it a few times. So
yeah, I saw some people that their book had been left out in weather, and it wasn't wrapped or weatherproof, so it was all waterlogged and shit.
Oh,
yeah, that's mine was mildly waterlogged.
So Star Teacher, he's in Europe. He's still waiting on his Bigfoot bill. I will say that is the only book that I regret not buying.
Yeah,
that looked like a complete premium product.
Yeah, it is good. It's real good. It's real good.
I was shocked by the level of production.
Like I will keep buying Zach books because, you know, one, I really like Zach.
Mm-hmm.
He seems like a normal guy.
So do you think it's fair that the sequel to Jawbreaker's Lost Souls will cost the exact same amount but won't have an artist the level or notoriety of John Malin on it?
Yeah, I think that's, I don't know. I think he could get somebody of
but he didn't.
Yeah.
He got a local artist here.
Yeah.
In the Philippines?
Yes. It's a third world country. Everyone's poor, so you don't have to pay him very much.
Capitalism, man.
The artist is probably very happy with his pay because, you know, I'm sure he's compensating very well for the economy here. But I think my understanding was that Brent and Malin would be back, but I think Malin's on his own thing now. There ain't no pulling him back anymore. He's got his own Graveyard Shift.
I'm probably not going to be getting the sequel, Jawbreakers. You know, I didn't, and I know people are going to get pissed when they hear this. I was not blown away by Jawbreakers. It was okay. It was good. It just, there were, I don't know.
The pacing was all off. There was weird relationships that didn't make sense at certain points. And I didn't think he built up the villains at all.
No, not at all.
Those are my 3 issues.
You know,
the art was awesome.
Yeah, I was not impressed with the storytelling, and I'm sorry, Zach. You know, I love you, man. But this was not a premium writing effort.
The art was premium though.
Yeah, the art was premium.
Malin and Brett Smith together were like perfect.
I really liked the second part of the book. That was the stuff that I
talking about the first stories.
The
reprints.
Yeah, I actually like those more than the Malin story.
Yeah, that was better. That was actually better than the Jawbreakers, than the Lost
So
Souls story.
Kelsey Shannon did the one book that was like G.I. Joe style.
Yeah,
He's actually a really good guy. I like him.
So I've
I
got 2 copies. I've got my 2 copies now. I've got my reader copy, which is beat up, which is the beat up copy, and the other copy arrived perfect. And you won't believe it, I actually sent that one off to CGC to get graded
oh cool.
because it arrived in such pristine condition. The corners are perfectly sharp. Everything's perfect on it. So I was like, oh, what the hell? I'm just gonna. This costs $20. I'm just gonna send it with my other CGC submissions and get it graded, and I'll have like one of the only graded ones in the world. So,
That's a clever idea.
well, I've got one to read, so why not?
So,
Yeah.
I think it's interesting. You have 3 different people that have supported the same 3 campaigns, and we all came out, with 3 different perspectives on whether or not we're going to keep supporting, what ones we are going to keep supporting. So it should be interesting moving forward. I think the next project that launches, which I believe will be the Jawbreakers, what is it? I can't remember the name of the next book.
God King.
God King. Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
I think that'll be the next one. And it'll be interesting to see if he.
We'll probably get God King before we get Cyberfrog.
Probably.
I think
I wouldn't doubt it.
I think the campaign will launch before you get it.
Well, we'll probably get the
launch, but
we'll get the sequel to
Cyberfrog
Doomsday
eventually.
Clock before we get Cyberfrog. It feels like.
Want to place money on that?
I'm being facetious.
I think. I don't know.
What do you think? What do you think?
follows
We'll get Cyberfrog first, or do you think Doomsday Clock will end first?
Oh, we'll get Cyberfrog first because Doomsday
Okay.
Clock won't end until September.
Okay.
I know that. I know.
I think
Clock
Doomsday
ends.
Clock will end before I receive my copy of Cyberfrog.
Fair
in the
enough.
Philippines.
Before you do, yeah, I don't doubt that.
But like I said, there's
Because
like an extra
shipping is
90
fast.
days. I'll get mine after your guys'.
I'm an impatient millennial, man. I just want my shit now. It's like, So,
Yeah, well, what got me was, and not even talking about comic books, just Kickstarters in general, is I was really excited when the whole Kickstarter craze started. And this one was a thermal printer that I thought, oh man, this is awesome, this new thermal printer, I can't wait to get this. And they said they'd be shipping it in only 9 months from now. That's awesome. So I went ahead and backed it. I think it was like $400 or something like that. And 9 months came, a year came, a year and a half, 2 years. Finally shipped after 38 months. It finally shipped and could not get refunds. Could not hardly contact the guy making the thing. And this happened over and over and over again with Kickstarters. And then you had the ones that didn't ship anything at all.
Mhm.
So, I kind of got indoctrinated in a brutal manner, with these Kickstarter events.
See, I also see that's unacceptable, and
it is unacceptable.
It's unacceptable, and CG should be above it. If they're gonna sell a product, they need to be
6 months. I don't think 6 months is late, but some people do.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't think 6 months
when I put my money down and
Indiegogo is really late. So
when I put my money down and it says November, and then it's 6 months from November, well then it's late.
I just don't agree because there's too many factors and variables for people to control, and I don't think that he thought at the time that he was going to put as much detail and work into it as he has. And you also have to consider the fact that he has put so much work. He's a little. He says he fights burnout on it, so he has to take like a day or two to step away from it every week or so. He's got to step away from it for a little while so that he can kind of refresh his mind, so he can get a little bit better focus on doing the book. Because an 88-page book of that detail and that magnitude is, something that very few artists will ever do in the comic realm.
Sometimes less is more, though.
I know, but
So my video.
the way he chose to do it, though, was more time consuming.
Hey, okay,
You know.
guys. I hate to cut off. This is a good conversation, but I actually have some work to do. I have to get these videos out.
Okay.
You know, we got the baby coming this weekend, so this one's a little bit abbreviated. It's only 2 hours instead of the normal 3. But
Sure.
thank you so much for joining us. You know, it was more a sparse crowd in the chats today, but you know, it was a weekday chat. We never tried this before, but anyway, thank you so much. And where can people follow you, buddy?
Oh, most of the social media platforms, largely Twitter and Instagram. Twitter tends to be a little bit more political, a lot more political than Instagram, Instagram is entirely comics. But people can reach me at just_Pele, Pele, and I answer questions and engage in conversations. So feel free.
Awesome. And last but not least, we got Mr. Bats, Sergeant Bats. What's going on, buddy? How can people contact you?
Well, I would ask people to come subscribe to my channel.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Looks like the numbers have been going up, buddy.
Yeah, not like your channel.
Well, you know,
Did you hit 400? Did you hit 400 yet?
No.
You sure?
395.
Yeah, I'm getting close.
You're almost there. You're almost there.
You know, you said you were getting like 5 subscribers a week, and I saw you jumped up like 12 in a week. So that's pretty good.
Yeah. That was really weird. I took a nap, and in my nap, I had a dream that I got more subs, and then I woke up and I had 10 subs, and I was like, I need to keep having those streams.
Yeah, that worked.
So yeah, sub to my channel on YouTube, Sergeant Bats, SGT Bats. There's no period. Everyone keeps putting a period in there.
So
same with Twitter.
I'll put you on the spot. Are you changing the channel? I thought I'd heard rumors that you were, and then
all in good time.
Okay, so it's still part of the plan, but we're moving towards it.
Yeah, it's a slow burn. It's like a Tom King wedding.
Oh, okay. So we're gonna do a false finish,
and then it just might not even happen.
You know that they are getting married on issue 100, right?
That's what I hear.
Yeah.
You know, I heard they were getting married
in the street.
I heard that they were getting married in issue 50. And
that's a weird thing. His whole arc supposedly is going to be a 100-page or issue story.
Yeah. Can't wait till it's over.
Yeah,
I also heard I was getting my Cyber Frog in November, but well, you know.
All right. Like
he was talking about this 2-week this comic every 2 weeks is starting to burn me. Tom King was. And I said, you really need to get it out to 1 a week.
Absolutely.
You really need to get it out to 1 a week. And somebody else was like, 1 a week? You must love him. I said, no, I want to get it over with. I want them out as fast as they possibly can. And do 1 a day. Get them out there.
I mean, his writing style is only, you could tell he takes 10 minutes at the computer, copies and pastes a poem he likes from his college years.
Yeah.
And was like, all right.
That one got me over Shirley. Everyone's gonna love that poem.
But yeah, you could sub to my channel on YouTube and follow me on Twitter at Sergeant Bats, SGT Bats.
Yep, it's a great guy. Please follow both of them. I think Pele might even be having content coming soon, but who knows? That'll all be coming in due time. Thank you so much for joining me.
I got scripts to write.
Yeah, and Solomon Poe. I'm out. Next time you see me, I should be a father again.
Good deal.
And we're live.